mystic and master healing using the traditional healing arts of India. Today, we're going to explore silent suffering and spiritual health. Welcome, Guru Yogi Shiobhan. Good morning.
Good morning. Namaste.
Namaste to you. I was living in Dubai from 2007 to 2012. And we used to do a lot of flying from Dubai to India, but it was always a turnaround flight. And one day we were flying to Trivandrum and our aircraft had a problem. So after we landed, we couldn't come back to Dubai. And my captain, he said, Daniel, he said, I can't tell you what to do. He said, but whatever I do, you should do. And I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, I'm not getting back on the aircraft. And I said, why not? He said, because we'll hop back on, but the flight won't be able to return to Dubai. So I followed him. We hopped in a taxi. We went to a beautiful hotel looking over a river, and we stayed there for 24 hours. Myself, the first officer, and one other crew. The other 15 crew sat in the airport for 24 hours. So I've learned that you've got to follow the right people along the way. So thanks for being here.
Right.
For our friends in the Western world, what is the role of a guru in one's life?
Guru is a guide for exploring the spiritual dimensions. When we try to drive in an unknown terrain, of course, it's good to take a support from a person who already gone through that area and familiar with the possibilities and problems. Same way, we know nothing about our spiritual domain. We know we have a body, we have a mind, then something beyond the body and mind, which is unknown for ordinary people. But the spiritual terrain is wonderful, but we must know how to explore it. So for Western mind, yes, there is the necessity of a person who had gone through these terrains to guide.
We seem to be so obsessed with physical things in the Western world. If I can touch it, if I can feel it, I can believe in it. I have faith in it if it's physical. But this concept of something that's not physical, something that I can't see, something that I can't hold on to, something that's intangible, I think a lot of us struggle to have faith in that. It's not that they don't believe it exists, they do, but they just can't touch it yet. And even myself, I grew up in a Catholic school. Then I went to a Christian school, and we had the Bible, but we never learned about spirituality. Spirituality was taboo. If we talked about spirituality, it was mystical. It was something that was very scary. Spirituality was always connected with something like a Ouija board and the devil. And so at a young age, you learn to fear it.
Oh.
But then you start to wake up and start to get curious about it. In the West, we have some challenges. It's what I like to call the sickness of not enough time, not enough money, not enough sales, not enough leads, not enough opportunity. Your role as a spiritual guide, how can you help people get peace of mind with this hurrying sickness we seem to have?
We must know about our reality. As you said, we know many things about our tangible body and intangible mind. But if I ask you a question, what do you own? You can say, I have a body and I have a mind. I have many things, but connected to body. I have a family, but the moment I die, something is leaving my body. Till that moment, everything is connected. But when something left my body, people will not call me by name. They will say the body. Then no more name. So what has gone from there? Then once it is left, everybody will think how early that matter can be disposed. Till that moment, everything was connected to that possessions. So our life is only dealing with in the material plane, matter, the tangible matter. Beyond the tangible matter, intangible mind, and beyond the mind, something is there. If we are not aware of that reality, which is the foundation of our life, the structure of the life is always shaky. This is what is happening. Modern science is going to a peak. It is reaching to the, like a height beyond our intellect, like quantum coherence. How many people can understand what quantum coherence is? But that is the reality as far as modern science is concerned. But how many thousands of years ago, this is what is discussed in detail in ancient India and made it available for everybody. That is why in India there is no belief system traditionally. There is only seeking system. This is the difference between Indian tradition and Western tradition. As a child, you were asked to believe, but as a child, I was asked to search. That is the difference. If I believe in something which I don't know, and I am not permitted to question and search, I am stuck there. Then, when I become busy of material life, then I will keep that inner quest aside. That is the main problem of the modern world. When we ignore the foundation and be aware of the structure, we try to do raise the structure, modify the structure, beautify the structure, but with a weak foundation. Always we feel some kind of inconsistency and fear being inside that structure. Mm-hmm. That is life. If somebody is feeling shaky and unsettled within, that person will be under a stress. When a society is having stress, they will unnecessarily start competing each other because nobody is settled within. A society is nothing but individuals grouped together. When we take the whole world as a society, why it is being chaotic? Because majority of the people are not internally settled. So we must have a union, a connection between our outer mind and inner reality, where we call yoga or religion. Unfortunately, in the Western world, religion is codified as a belief system. The word religion evolved from the Latin word religare, which means union, connection. In India, it's called yoga. So everybody, I say you means the common word. Everybody should be having a link between the brain and the heart. Technically saying intellect and the instinct. So once intellect is managed by the instinct is controlling 95% of our existence in subconscious level. Brain is handling only 5% as far as modern science is concerned. So everybody is focusing and sticking on only 5% of the reality and 95% is ignored. Here, yoga, religion comes. Put an effort to make a union between your 5% of the brain and 95% of your heart. Then now modern biology is slowly connecting that and emphasizing there is a subtle link between, in the quantum dimension, there is a link between the brain and the heart. Once we become aware of that, we will feel I am settled. So you will listen the language of heart. According to even Albert Einstein, he clearly stated this. Whatever we experience or discover, invent through the power of the brain must be translated through the language of heart. See, what a wonderful comment. Mm-hmm. Here we must learn to connect our brain with the heart. Then we will become a yogi or a guru. Who is guru? An inner guidance will come from within. Everybody will be settled within. A doctor is within, a guide is within, a friend is within, and an enemy is within. Learn to do that. Then you will become religious. Religion means realization of the reality is religion, not a sect of beliefs. This is what we have to adopt, acknowledge, and execute in our day-to-day life.
You were mentioning that 95% of what we're doing is out of conscious awareness, and 5% is within that conscious awareness. What do people have to start to become aware of so they can start that spiritual journey? Is there fears that they carry? Are there limiting beliefs? Because people suffer in silence and they find it very hard to articulate. What is it? What do they have to become more aware of?
Be aware of your breath. Breath is not air. This is what we must understand. It is our responsibility and necessity to be aware of the technique of our survival. Breath, people think get more oxygen, then everything is settled. No. Your life, your thought pattern, your power of awareness is totally based on the awareness of or the attention of your breath. In India or yoga, it is called prana vayu. There are two sections for breath. Prana is the vital force which is linked to the cosmic energy. Air is oxygen, vayu. So oxygen is secondary, but the energy which is absorbing oxygen is the prana, which has no English name. So that is now modern science also slowly reaching to a conclusion that the link between the mind and body is prana. Like a Dr. Sheldrake, he is mentioning in one of his theories, morphogenesis, means the dimension between the energy and matter. Mm. So actually that is mentioned in India as prana kosha. Prana kosha means consciousness. Prana is something which is in between the mind and body. It's an amazing revelation which happened to me when I was searching for the answer for all these questions. I was a curious boy right from the beginning. I used to ask questions. Most of my teachers were really tired of attending me, and because I used to ask straight questions. Who am I? The teacher said, "You eat this." I asked, "Why?" "Do this." "Why?" My mother asked me to go to a temple to worship God. I asked my mother, "Why should I go there? Who is sitting there?" And she said, "God is there." "How can I see him or see her?" "Have you seen God?" So my mother was tired. That everything was questioned. Finally, when I reached to a certain level, I knew that external world is not capable of giving answer for my real questions. So here I started to looking inside. I came to know The moment I learn to connect, do yoga, yoga means union, connect my brain with the heart through the medium of prana, pranayama, it is said. Everybody can practice pranayama, ayama in Sanskrit, extension. An ordinary human being will breathe 13 to 14 times a minute. But yogic breathing is minimum 4 to 6. So it's a conscious extension, ayama. When we become established in extending the breath, gradually we will be able to stop the breath. It's called prana stambhana, retention of breath. Not air, but prana, breath. Once it happens, our mind can go beyond the consciousness. It's called Tantra in India, modern science, transcendental. It's a higher level of consciousness and awareness and understanding of the inner system. This is what everybody should be added as a daily practice in modern life. Now we do a lot of workouts in the gymnasium. I was a boxer and a karate master. But I used my muscles beyond certain limit. One day I came to know that my violent actions are slowly guiding me to a serious silence. In the beginning, I was confused. But later I came to know, see the opposites of the nature. Heat and cold, pleasure and pain, day and night, and proton and neutron, all both are like yin and yang. Opposites are connected. And we are oscillating from either this side to this side, this side to this side, and confused, which is true. But if you practice this union, religion, seriously, scientifically, we will be able to make a position, find a position in the middle. That is what is called, in India, it's called samyak, means equilibrium, equality. When you reach to that samyak state, it's called samadhi. Modern science is saying that altered state of consciousness. When we reach to that level, we will handle pleasure and pain, gain and loss with a balanced position. That is what is miserably missing in the material or modern world. Everybody should be educated this. We can see the moment the brain is connected to heart through the medium of breath. It's a daily practice. That is what is called prarthana in India. Modern world is saying prayer. See the similarity. Prana arthana. Prana means the vital energy. Arthana means attainment. When you get into prana arthana, prarthana, in English it's called prayer. Connect yourself within. Actually, prayer is not meant to give request, applications, complaint to the God. There is no God waiting for anybody to receive the applications. Unfortunately, this is the way it's taught. Prayer is bringing the mind back from the wandering objects. Try to fix it. Connect your brain with the heart through the medium of air or breath. That is what conscious breathing. If somebody is aware of that, the process of breathing, then the person will smile from the heart. Otherwise, people are smiling through the brain. It is always having two dimensions. When I look at you and smile through the brain, I will be suspicious on you. Brain or mind is always having two opposites. When I like somebody, I will ask myself, is it worth liking him? Mind, that is the nature of the mind, is always connecting to duality. Okay, once we shift our attention from brain, the dual brain, to the heart, the single source, when I smile, it's an unconditional smile. This is what Jesus Christ always mentioned, practice unconditional love. In that unconditional love, there are no two, only one, which is beyond the mind. This is what should be attained through prayer. But we have to practice for ourselves and propagate for others.
You're mentioning love, and I think in the West, people feel that it's easy to love other people. Love my girlfriend, love my dog, love my cat. But they struggle to love themselves. How can they start to love themselves?
Just go beyond the duality of mind. Mind cannot function with a single source. You see the structure of the brain. It has two lobes. One is instinctive, one is intellectual, masculine and feminine. It's heating and cooling. Right is solar nerve, it's heating. Left is lunar nerve, it is cooling. So without these opposites, brain cannot function. The moment mind is active, we will become emotional. Mm-hmm. Emotions are being controlled by hormones. That is the chemistry. If you want to be angry, there must be a chemical change happening in your brain. How somebody is showing you something ugly or telling something which you don't like. So these things will trigger your mind and you will come to a conclusion that, it's not good for me. Based on that conclusion, your adrenal gland will produce adrenaline. Once adrenaline, that hormone mixes up in the blood, your BP will shoot up, you will feel the anger. You're angry. That is an emotion. If the same person next day come and say that, oh, Daniel, I'm sorry. I didn't know the works, the wonderful things you are doing. So praising you, talking about you, very nice things. Then the same process, your conclusion will reach to that, fantastic, nice for me. Based on that, your pituitary gland will produce endorphins. It's happy hormone. Then you'll feel that, I'm happy. So everything is being done like this. It's the dimension of love you mentioned is emotional. When you love your girlfriend, it's a different dimension. When you love your mother, it's a different feeling, different hormone. When you respect your guru, it's a different hormone. When you hate somebody, it's a different hormone. When you hug a child, it's a different hormone. So everything is different. There is no unity in between. And your emotions keep on changing. When you are in a good mood, your girlfriend comes, your hormones are different. When you are in a bad mood, the person comes, you are in a different emotion. Why? Things are changing within. So that is the influence. The inner change is with the influence of external stimulations. Here, if you want to practice unconditional love, go beyond the mind. Go beyond the matter. Everything is produced by matter. Mm-hmm. And matter is always having this duality. In quantum physics, they say a duality. There is something beyond matter. It's called a duality. Thousands of years ago in India, it is mentioned as Advaita. See the similarity. Advaita means something is there beyond the mind, beyond the dual manifestation, yin and yang, or pleasure and pain. So it is only possible through practice. Every day, if somebody can spend at least 24 minutes, we have 24 hours. Earth will take 24 hours to make a full circle, rotation. Within that 24 hours, there will be a strategic change happening in our material body and mental body. That from that 24 hours, take 24 minutes. Take 1 minute from each hour. Sit somewhere with the cross leg. Keep the body as a pyramid shape. Then try to focus the mind in the body. Always it is moving here and there. Consciously you say, control your breath, prana. Bring it back. If you succeed in holding the breath, arresting the breath, there is no choice for the mind to wander here and there. It is already proven. Even for you also, just sit somewhere and consciously hold the breath. Towards, like, if you reach to 50 to 60 seconds, surprisingly you will come to know you will not have many thoughts. It will be coming to single or one or two thoughts. So this must be practiced. Within this 24 minutes, if you sit every day with a crossed leg and consciously trying to attend your brain, bring your mind back to the breath, you will see wonderful changes happening within you. This is the only remedy for, or only way to experience unconditional love. Actually, you are not, that person is not loving anybody through the mind, through the emotions. It is something beyond the mind, which is beyond explanation.
Mm.
Yes.
Interesting that you have mentioned breath many times. I was listening to an interview today and they were talking about life and longevity. And they were comparing athletes and having a look at the lifespan of an athlete. And they looked at muscles, they were looking at the lower body. They say that cyclists have some of the biggest leg muscles of all athletes,
Yeah.
but their longevity is only 2 years beyond the normal person in the population. So they came to the conclusion that having big, strong leg muscles wasn't going to extend your life for more than 2 years. They looked at other athletes. They looked at boxers. You're mentioning boxing. And they said that boxers had a shorter lifespan because of this major impact on the muscles and the bones, and then all the soft tissue between the joints. They then had a look at gymnasts and pole vaulters, and they said that the gymnasts had a lifespan of up to 6 years longer than the average person. And they said that with gymnastics, what was different to the other sports was there was so much coordination in the top part of the body, specifically around the heart and the lungs and the breathing. And the conclusion was because of these gymnasts that had to focus so much on their breathing, that also led to a longer lifespan of up to 6 years. So they're saying it wasn't the physical strength in the legs, it wasn't the power in the fist, but it was the breath. Because they said that once that started to expand the lungs and the heart, then the rest of the body also strengthened up. Not just the oxygen saturation, but the process of the breathing.
Yes, it's partially correct, but we can add more in that. Sports, any kind of, like boxing. Of course, I give maximum attention to my body, but my attention, my mind is always assessing the position and movements of my opponent. So mind is always outside,
Mm.
and muscles are strained. This is the difference between sports and yoga. When I play cricket, suppose I am a batsman, if the other guy is really a fast bowler, the ball must be coming more than 220 kilometers per hour. But ordinarily, I cannot see that ball. So technically, what's happening? The bowler's movements, the position of the finger, everything is assessed in the mind, and mind will calculate what will be the position of the ball. This is what's happening. So mind is always outside, and the muscles are strained. When I play basketball, always, yes, muscles are moving, it is strengthened, coordinated, everything. But what's happening? My mind is always assessing the movements and find out the spaces, the gap through which I can move on and find the basket. So mind is always outside. This is the difference. But in gymnastics, you can see his mind must be connected to the muscle. Otherwise, he cannot maintain the positions. It's the most yogic stretches
Mm.
in gymnastics, like acrobatics. You can see gymnast means like acrobatics also mostly similar to gymnastics. But in yoga, what's happening? Completely mind is withdrawn from external objects. Even in gymnastics, when I do parallel bars, I am aware of the bars where I am holding. When I do the Roman reigns, I know I have to calculate the movements and steadiness of the rope. Still, it is little outside. But in yoga, you have to make your body and mind bring it to a stillness, irrespective of the situations. You are not at all bothered about anything except the muscles. There, when you strain the muscles through stretching, then it will be attaining a different strength. This is what is called stretch, strain, and strengthen. These are the three dimensions of the muscle. But in these three dimensions, mind should be united, connected to these processes. Unfortunately, in sports, mind will be outside to different extensions. In cycling, you said, cycling is a rhythmic action. There is no variations. But still, we are aware of the road, the traffic, the movement. But in yoga, you are sitting. No movements. It's called stambhana, means stillness. Here, the stretch will give the strain. Then the strain will be converted into strength. This is what we have to do. So I think a phone is ringing. I don't know from where it is.
It might be the gods calling me today. When I was an athlete in the sport of wakeboarding, there was so much going on. And using your metaphor here, in wakeboarding, the mind was always outside. I would be watching the water. So if I wanted to do a trick, I'd have to look at the water. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Because I have to cut out towards that direction.
Yes.
I've then got to look around to see if there's any other boats on the river. I've got to see if there's any obstacles in the water. I'm also gauging how much wind is coming towards me. The wind could be coming head on, it could be coming from behind, it could be coming from the side. Once I'm out there and I want to come back in towards the wake, now I've got to be assessing the wake. I've got to judge, where am I going to hit that wake? Is it flat or is it choppy?
Yeah.
On the way in, I'm gauging my own speed. And then I'm also trying to listen to the speed of the boat, because at sometimes the boat speed can change. So before you even do the trick, the mind is so active outside, and I'm not even ready in here to do what I want to do.
Yes.
And then in a split second, you hit the wake, you do your trick, and now you're external again. You're spotting your landing. Where am I going to land? How does my board need to be positioned? Where do my hands need to be positioned? And then you go again. And as you're saying here, the mind is outside.
Yes.
The difference of wakeboarding to wake surfing, when we surf behind the boat, for me, when I wake surf, I feel that I can get into the flow state. I feel that my attention is inside, because at that stage, I don't have to worry about the boat. The boat becomes more set and forget.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about other boats around me, because they're not in a proximity of danger. And then once I'm on that wave, it's just my feet on the board. And I can go up and down, but now it's all one. I'm not separate from it. And I
Yes.
could go out and wake surf for 15 minutes, but it felt like I was there for hours. I wasn't worried about what was happening in the boat.
Hmm.
I wasn't worried about what I was doing. It was just in flow. And it was a very enjoyable experience because it's like you escaped all the noise from the outer world.
Yes. This is the benefit of exercise.
Mm.
It's in Sanskrit, it's called vyayama. When you strain the muscles beyond certain limit through any way, either sports or like cricket or tennis or surfing, in between, because of your rhythmic action, sometimes your mind and body will merge each other. There will be a spark of spiritual awareness, but it will be momentary. That's why any serious practitioner, either a cyclist or a cricket player or a boxer, they cannot stop practicing. They will have an addiction on that. Even if they have some muscle pain and everything, they apply some cream, then they want to do the practice. You know why? When certain moments, mind and body merge each other, there something strange to the mind will be exposed.
Mm.
This is what is called Kundalini in yoga. I mean, the hidden third energy. There is the body, mind, something beyond body and mind, which we call spirit. Any violent movement can, or violent actions can bring you to a silence. And if you become aware of that silence, you will hear the sound of silence. In all sports, fraction of seconds, everybody will listen that. That is what is called altered state of consciousness. It is an ecstatic feeling. No material drug can produce that much intensity, spiritual or that intoxication. It's a spiritual intoxication which is beyond explanation. That's why almost all serious practitioners, no matter thinking from which field they are coming, towards the end, after the age of 60, 65, 70, they will have two types of life. Either they will become more spiritual, they will look very calm, they smile, there will be, a presentation of a spiritual person. Or, unfortunately, don't get me wrong, some people fall into drugs. They cannot stop it. It's called lahari in Sanskrit. Lahari means intoxication. When we reach to certain level, when we go beyond the mind, either we need a spiritual intoxication or a material intoxication. I mean drugs. So this is the difference between the material drug and spiritual drug. Our body can produce cocaine, morphine, and LSD. Can you believe it? That is the secret of nature. If I meet with an accident in a lonely place, my car is overturned when I drive in the desert, I lost one of my hands and blood is oozing out. And immediately my autonomic nervous system will be activated. Naturally, the temperature of the blood will be low. Then I will not feel the pain. Brain will produce either cocaine or morphine or some kind of drugs will be produced. I will not feel the pain. I will take the piece of the hand and I will look for a help, maybe screaming or walking kilometers to find a shelter or place to save my life.
Mm.
When I see somebody, I feel that, somebody is there, I will get medical aid, then only I will faint. Up to that moment, mind will be, or the autonomic nervous system will make me powerful to withstand the situation. So this possibility is being used in yoga. So when we stop the breath, what will happen? Body will come to know, hey, something is happening dangerously. If you are not breathing more than 2.5 minutes, you will die. But through systematic practice, you can go more than 5 minutes. Then our system will come to know, hey, something is happening dangerous. Then the autonomic nervous system will be activated. It will produce some kind of drugs from the body. It's When in India, people will put a mark over here. They do it religiously, but it has a significant meaning. When the pineal gland is triggered, pineal gland can produce a chemical similar to LSD, dimethyltryptamine. If it is produced, you will feel some kind of intoxication and you can shift your consciousness. Just for example, if two materials or two molecules like hydrogen and oxygen, they are strange gases, but you make a union between the two gases, what will happen? Gases will lose their identity and a new product will be evolved, which is called water, H2O. So this molecular combination, union between two molecules, can transform into a different reality. If we take the scientific fact, if we make a union between mind and body, what will happen? Both will lose their identity. A third reality will be evolved, which is called spiritual awareness. So when it is happening through different external activities like sports and dances, art forms, that is what is called a temporary spiritual awareness. But once it is happening in the eternal stillness, that is what is called permanent spiritual awareness. So when we do extreme sports, sometime like as a spark, the third reality will be coming. So people will experience something which is beyond their explanation and they will be addicted to that. They will search for that. If they are not trained into real scientific yoga, mostly they will fall into rituals and drugs. If they are trained scientifically in yoga, they will have a consistent ecstasy, consistent intoxication, which is called spiritual bliss. So the potential is there, but we must know how to explore it.
As you express it like that, I believe that everybody's tasted that
Yes.
at some time in their life. It could have been in their early years. They might have had an awareness and knowingness of this is my life path. And whenever they think about it, they feel that rush. They feel those free drugs in the body. And when they start to study and practice, they get that hit once again. People in sports, they feel it. In the sport of wakeboarding, it's a very addictive sport. And what I believe is that people are chasing that feeling. They do their first trick and they get that hit, then they want it again and want it again. And then sometime in the journey, they don't feel that anymore. I don't think they feel it consciously. Unconsciously they do, but they lose their conscious awareness of it. But then if they keep progressing and get past that plateau, they get into that flow state and they do it so effortlessly that when you watch them, it's like a master in action. They're there, they're doing it, but at the same time, there's this kind of magic around what they're doing, and they do it so easily. It's not that they haven't trained for thousands of hours, but it's like they're getting to that third dimension once again. Some people get it from the jobs that they do. And
Yes.
a lot of people have chosen a career and a vocation that they get to experience that every day. Like in my career, whenever I'm coaching, whenever I'm training, I get that third dimensional feeling. And I say to my wife, I say, I would do this even if I wasn't getting paid. And she says, well, who's going to pay the bills? I said, that'll take care of itself. But we've all had it. And then we do keep looking for it. And in my opinion, I think some people wait too late to reconnect with it. It's not something that is something that we have to delay. We can experience it daily. But we also need that teacher and guide to show us. Because I think at the start, in the West, we call it beginner's luck. It's like when you start a business, your first year might be the best year ever, but then you face your challenges. And that's when you need your guru, that's when you need your yogi, that's when you need your coach to help you get back on the path. They also say that a brain surgeon can't operate on their own brain. And I think is true with spirituality. We're a spiritual being, but we need somebody who's progressed further to be able to show us how to get to that next level.
Yes.
You know, there's no, we're not given a book at the start of our life that says this is what you do. We've got
Yeah.
to learn it on the way. In the Western world, we hear a lot about energy centers. We hear a lot about chakras, but I don't believe people understand what they really are. In in your opinion, what are the chakras and how do they help us on our spiritual journey?
Chakra in Sanskrit, the coil, it's like a armature. If you want to produce electricity, you need two magnets, and in between the magnets, a spiral like a cylinder, a cylinder covered with the wind up with coated copper wire. Once that copper wire, the cylinder is rotated, you rotate the magnetic field, you will get electricity. So somehow electricity is stored in that armature. That is what is called in yoga Kundalini. Kundalini means coiled, spirally stored. In tantric way, it is depicted as a snake, which is in this spiral form. Once it is hit, it will wake up. Same way, in our body, energy, the cosmic potential, is stored in a mysterious way. So this the mystic energy is being manifested through our system, or manifested in our system through 108 energy points, which are called marmas, small sources, or we can say power stations. Among these 108, 7 areas are very significant. They are called chakras. Chakra means the wheel or the spiral things. So that is not in our physical body. It is in our energy body. Scientifically, earlier people said, oh, what we experience as matter is only existing. Beyond that, nothing. But now, modern science also reaching to that point with ultra-modern cameras like a Kirlian camera, biophoton camera, the energy body is visible now. So these chakras are in the energy body, controlled by the external elements, like Muladhara, the root chakra, then Sahasrara, the head chakra. That is positive and negative, male and female. Then in between, there are 5 chakras, 5 energy centers, which are controlled by the food which we eat, earth energy, water we drink, water energy, the heat we maintain, 37.3 degrees centigrade heat must be maintained in the body, Agni. That is called 3rd chakra. The 4th is the air we breathe. And the 5th is the sound energy we receive from nature during sound sleep. So earth, water, fire, air, and space. These are the 5 fundamental energies or molecules we are absorbing from nature. And once it is absorbed, it must be processed. It's like our car. Car is a combination of, like if you have a petrol car, petrol must be filled, it must be taken to an area called carburetor, and air should be sucked in, should be compressed, there must be a spark, then the piston is moving and it is being converted into energy. That's why car is moving. Same way we fill the fuel, water is there and the heat, spark plugs are there, the piston is there and the air breather is there. So everything is coordinated and these chakras are taking care of the functions. It must be harmonized. Otherwise, the body machine cannot function at ease, which is called disease. In India, traditionally, if somebody is suffering from a disease, medicine is the last resource. It's called a Panchabala Siddhanta. Panchabala means five energies must be balanced. Annabalam, you have to change the food first. The fuel is wrong. Second is Asanabala, you have to know how to stretch your system. Third is Pranabala, means you know how to balance your breath. Third is Manobalam, you have to manage your mind. After these four energies only, or discipline, maintaining these three, four disciplines, then only the fifth one is applied, Aushadabala, medicine. So medicine is applied at last. First, food is managed, then exercise is managed, breath is managed, mind is managed, then only medicine is given. That's why it is a comprehensive treatment. No disease is beyond control in front of that discipline. But again, that is ignored, and the modern science is depending only on medicines, ignoring the system and depending blindly on medicine, which is putting into many, many side effects. So, chakras are the real functioning areas or functioning sources in the body, mainly 7 areas, and sub-centers are there, 108 energy points from which acupressure and acupuncture in China developed. It is called in India Marma Shastra. Marma means vital points. So chakras are very significant. We must be able to balance it through the power of breath, prana. Again, we are coming back to the real subject, how relevant and significant the prana is.
When these energy centers are blocked, how does that impact people's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being?
Definitely. Again, take this analogy of a car or a computer. The car is based on different energy sources but harmonized. If you drive a car, you want to enjoy, the fuel should be pumped. Fuel pump should be proper. It should be, then the fuel should be clean. If you have a polluted fuel, whatever may be the condition of the car, it cannot run properly. So the fuel should be clean. The supply of the fuel should be managed. Then the spark plug. Each and every cell has a electric power. Brain is always working on electric impulses. Heart is beating with electricity. It's a bioelectricity. So that is what is called the power of heat. Then the circulation. Body should be having the cooling system and the exhaust pipe. See how the toxins are taken out. Perspiration, then mucus, urine, stool. So everything should be coordinated. Then air. If you take the car for service, the first thing they will take the air filter and clean it. Once it is spoiled, they say immediately change the air breather. Otherwise, if the air is not pure, the machine cannot run. Same way, body is a combination of different elements, energy sources, codified inside and harmonized in a very technical way. And the real mechanic is your own mind. If the mechanic in the service center or in the workshop is drunk, your car is at risk. Okay, same way, the mechanic of our system, this machine, is our mind. So mind should be kept very vigilant, accurate. Then only, as a driver, you can drive the car and enjoy the driving. Life is like a driving. If the car is having problems, you will never have a comfortable ride. This is what we have to see. So body should be very well balanced, monitored by the mind. So the union, the coordination between the mind and body through our inner awareness is called yoga. So everybody must be a yogi by our own practice, our own discipline. Don't think that yogi means somebody is sitting in the caves of Himalayas or in the dense forest. No. Yoga is the most essential thing for everybody, for everything. If you read a book, your mind should be connected to the subject, union, connection. There you are a yogi in a reading process. Suppose you drive the car. Your mind should be connected with the traffic rule and the situations. If you are not connected, you are in danger. When you are a surgeon, when you dissect a body, your mind should be properly connected. That is what you must be a yogi as a surgeon. Everything is like this. Now we are talking each other. My mind, your mind are connected. So then only I understand what you ask. Then I give you an answer. Your mind is connected. Then you understand it. Yoga. So everything is happening, but unfortunately, our attention is being deviated. There, the smooth running of the vehicle is at risk. That is what is called stress or disease.
I have seen a big change in the world recently where people are disconnected from their body and they're living in their head. And it could be said they're worshipping technology as an example, but they're not rooted in the here and now. They're not present. They have a lot of anxiety, a lot of worries. They don't feel secure and stable within themselves or within the world. And when I look at their energy centers and their chakras, you can see the imbalances. People with excessive energy in their root chakra hoard things. They keep buying and buying and holding on to everything. People who don't have enough energy and they have deficient energy centers in the root, they can never get enough. They always feel like they're struggling to survive. But then you meet somebody who's got a balanced root chakra, they attract money, but they don't have to try hard. I've heard people say, try easy. It seems to come to them. They do a wonderful job and they get rewarded for that. They have peace of mind. They feel safe in this world. They feel secure. And you can see that there's a lot of confidence in that area because they're stable.
But yes, again, our mind is being connected to the material things. Then we try to assess through the chakra energy. Actually, these chakras are beyond mind. So if we assess a person, it's all like a symptoms. When we use a Kirlian camera to find out the position of the chakra, we can see sometimes it is well aligned, sometimes it is scattered. But if you meditate, these chakra movements and strengthening or weakening will be done consciously. When it happens spontaneously or compulsively, we are actually slave of that action, slave of the cosmic energy. The chakras are not only balanced by our own effort or our own mind. These are all well in tune with other energy sources in nature, like 9 planets. Solar system, as a part of the solar system, we are intricately connected to the energy fabric. We cannot ignore these things. Like when a person is mentally disturbed, we will call him, oh, he's a lunatic. People who, yes, yes, when the place where they are taken care of is a lunatic asylum. A person who is having asthma, full moon and new moon day, he will be having, discomforts. That means The moon is very much into our daily life. Each and every moment, the connection is there. Moon is controlled by other planets and the solar system itself. So we all are interconnected. When we reach to that quantum level, we can say quantum entanglement. So these chakras are really moving here and there based on the influence of the stars, the planets, even the galaxies. So our ordinary mind or ordinary attention cannot reach to that level. If we want to understand this, interconnection, we should go beyond the mind. That is what is called Chitta Vritti Nirodha Yoga. Means arrest the functions of your wandering mind. Then go beyond it. Super consciousness. Everybody can develop that if we arrest the breath. Stambhana, prana. Prana, the function of the lungs, must be arrested through systematic practice. If that arrest some places or so for some people, the prana will be arrested by nature. These people are called insane. Insanity is a yogic state but beyond control. But if you consciously, through practice, arrest your breath, then within the control, that is what is called a yogic super consciousness. So this guy who is under control is yogi in Sanskrit. The guy who is out of control is rogi, means diseased. So what we have to understand is chakras are not under the domain of mind. That is, they are, or the marmas are, they are linked directly with the cosmic energy fabric, where our mind should be arrested to understand and control them. Unfortunately, some references are given in the yogic books. Then what will happen? People will read that and process a particular thought on that. They will frame it. That also, framing a thought is under the limit of our mind. But the chakras are beyond the limit of the mind. So now we are trying to explain the infinity through the medium of a finite equipment. This is the problem in yoga. A person who wants to understand quantum mechanics, but he doesn't know anything about even the fundamental physics, what will happen?
Confusion.
Confusion. There is no clarity. That is what.
Confusion. Guru Yogi Shiobhan, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your wisdom. Greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.